This is probably the best scene from the entire movie. He's not even in the window, dude. He's like clipped out. One of my favorite things about this whole scene is that.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. We got some great clips for you today. One of our most requested clips, some really janky VFX. I can't wait to talk about those.
I am excited.
You haven't told me anything about this yet.
We got some real good jank in this episode.
It's the best. It's the best when you don't know what's coming. What are those guns? What?
Plastic guns, because that's
Plastic
Magneto.
guns. Remember?
Have you seen this movie?
No.
So Magneto can control metal. Remember?
Not a Marvel guy.
Look at that fluid simulation.
Oh, he's got jokes.
Do you see how the smoke tracked on the gun when he moved it there? Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
There's even like a vacuum behind where Quicksilver's running, and everything kind of gets sucked into that as he goes through it.
That was cool.
That's great.
This is probably the best scene from the entire movie.
Doing frozen slow motion scenes like this are actually really fun and not that hard to do. All you need to do is have all your actors stand still, move the camera smoothly through them, and then 3D track the scene and just add things to the air.
So that's why they have so many different pots and pans and vegetables and rain and debris, and it's all 100% computer generated.
But we actually did this before in our Frozen Crossing Alpha video, which came out like 8 years ago, which is nuts.
You notice how he's like running up on the side of the wall there?
Totally.
So for here, it's easy enough. They're just filming him in super slow motion, hitting him with a super high-powered air blast fan. But here they actually rigged him up. He's hanging sideways, running alongside that wall there. That shot right there, how do you think they did that one?
This strikes me as him running on like a green treadmill, and the camera's actually sideways, but then all the background's been replaced to make it feel like Quicksilver is now sideways.
So that's kind of it. But his legs there are interacting with the wall. So they actually did a full CG replacement of the bottom half of his body.
What? Those legs are CG?
Those legs are
just
CG.
That?
Tilt your head sideways and watch it.
Yeah, you can really
It's
see.
way more obvious when you tilt your head.
It really stands out when you look for it now. Like the cloth, there's no cloth simulation.
And the motion feels weird to me.
Yeah.
That cheek shot, like when he taps the cheek and it's like,
yeah.
That's a really cool moment.
The really hard way to do this is to remap 3D geometry onto the guy's face, reproject the image of his face onto the 3D geometry, and then warp that 3D geometry and take the lighting and the perspective shifts and comp it back onto his face. The easy way to do this is to just hit him with air at like 1,000 frames per second.
Another thing they did is performance stabilization. They have the people standing there as still as possible, but even with that, there's a little bit of motion, and they're basically going through and freeze framing certain parts of a performance and keeping it rock solid steady.
Having the sprinklers going off in the scene was a genius move on the art direction. By putting all this particulate in the air, you can feel your motion through 3D space, and you can feel the frozen time.
Yeah.
Can we do a quick comparison to Neo getting punched in the face in slow motion?
Oh, dude, that was the best part of the whole movie, dude. Ooh, that is sick.
So they're doing many different things the same way for this scene as the Quicksilver scene. The most primary thing, rain, water in the air.
For one, in Quicksilver, they got the rain shape right. Rain is not long. It's actually globular.
They modeled a motion blur. They created a motion blurred water droplet as a 3D model.
This is ballsy. Those fluid simulations, for how low res they are, shows you like how undeveloped that technology was. But look how good like this face punch simulation is.
Huey.
Oh,
did
he
he just
dodged it?
I thought he dodged it.
I thought he dodged it too. Whoa!
Oh, I remember this shot now. I remember this now.
Classic.
We really like
about
bullet
this.
time!
Boom, boom, boom.
This is really intricate, though.
Super intricate.
A lot of that stuff are actual real filmed elements that are composited in.
So this shot, like this movie came out very shortly after The Matrix. It was marketed as being from the producers of The Matrix.
From the producer of The Matrix.
So it was like the next best thing since The Matrix came out. So this is them trying to do bullet time, but like it is not nearly as elegant. Like it serves no purpose in the story. Like the bullet time in The Matrix like was establishing how Neo is seeing time move at a different rate, where this is just like, boy, wouldn't it be cool to watch an explosion in slow motion?
But hey, look, they're doing some things right. I'm seeing some cool stuff right now. Like, you can see the explosion reflecting through the water on the surface. Look at
Oh,
that.
you're right.
On the left.
Look at that.
These days, this shot would be done like probably all CG, including the
absolutely.
people.
Yep.
But back when they filmed this shot, they were doing the technique of basically yo-yoing people, where they'd wrap them up in the cable multiple times and then yank it, and they go, they'd unwind really fast. And that's what's happening to all those guys. They're just being unwound and they're flopping in the air. And of course they're doing it into like green screen, so they're basically all just like green screen elements. Yeah.
You notice you don't ever see a full car shot.
Yeah, you never see their
All the
tires
cars
sitting on the ground.
You only ever see parts of the car, and that's because they're actually being composited in.
So they're kind of doing the classic cover your stuff up with motion blur thing, which is a little disappointing because it kind of makes this whole scene really blurry. So motion blur cannot be bigger than the distance moved between frames. So the leftmost side of that rightmost spark, if we go forward 1 frame, so for that motion blur to be longer than the distance the sparks moves, basically for it to be overlapping itself for these 2 frames, it means that their motion blur is higher than what a 360-degree shutter would capture. And it's impossible for a shutter to be higher than 360 degrees. A 360-degree shutter means it's been open for the entire time your frame's been exposed.
A film camera can actually only record a 180-degree shutter, and this is already twice that for that spark.
So you're saying that little strip of blur should be reduced by
Half the
half?
length.
Yeah.
Yes, at least. It's a really complicated way of saying they got too much dang motion blur in the shot.
Interesting.
One of the big challenges for visual effects back in the day was high dynamic range imagery. So for example, the explosion here, the fire, it looks very flat. The problem is, fire, it's a very, very bright thing. And when you have things like smoke and dirt and dust in front of it, it's almost the same as putting like a neutral density filter in front of your camera, which just cuts down the amount of light in the scene. Now what's happening here is that they're bringing the exposure of the fire down, but the actual exposure is not changing. They're just changing the colors of this blown out fire to begin with. So these bright white yellow areas are now just dark mustard yellow areas.
The fire is like way less bright than the sky.
Yeah, it should be at least that bright.
This is a very big explosion causing people to go flying, and the sky is the brightest thing. The reflection on the ground is brighter than the fire.
Explosion. I remember this whole movie was marketed on this shot alone.
Was it?
Pretty much.
Oh, dang, okay.
Swordfish.
If you guys have a specific shot from a movie that you want us to take a look at, leave a comment down below letting us know what that shot is.
Who killed Captain Alex? Now this movie's got heart.
Dude, they're going hard.
It looks like the fighting's actually pretty rad.
Yeah.
Like these are just some dudes out there doing it because they love movies and want to make one.
I'm so ready for the VFX shot.
Super tough. Super deadly.
He's not even in the window, dude. He's like clipped out.
Bomb anything big and important. Yeah. Oh wow.
Who made this? That's what I want to know.
It's a bunch of dudes out in Uganda that just wanted to make action films and just started doing it.
That's how we all got into it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it!
This energy these guys are taking to their performances is like rock solid. Oh, dead.
Oh man, did their best with that track.
They just stopped putting effects in for this part.
Yeah, they did.
The guy's just shooting and doing a drive-by with his chopper. I love it.
They obviously don't know how to use an effects program, but in
looping
spite of
background?
that, they're still making it a thing. Like, they're still making a film.
The most important thing when it comes to visual effects is making sure that they are telling a story and entertaining the audience. If your effects are distracting people and pulling them away from like getting to enjoy your story, then your effects are failing at their job. But if your effects are enhancing it and getting people to be entertained and getting them to like your story, then they're successful, and it doesn't matter how realistic they are. I know we're being super uplifting here. Let's break down an effect shot and talk about how we make it better.
I'm not exactly sure what's even supposed to be happening here.
Did it land on it and take it down?
All right, step one, perspective, making sure your perspective is correct. The helicopter is way too big. Another thing, if they want to make the shot look more realistic without changing anything else other than what they're working with, the black levels on the chopper are way too dark. There's atmosphere between you and what we're looking at here. There's air. And there should be haze on the helicopter, and that haze should make it match the black levels, so to speak, of the windows and the shadows of the buildings behind it.
Take a little color picker. What's the darkest pixel of your entire shot? And that should be how dark your darkest pixel is on your render. I still can't wrap my head around the size of this helicopter and what it's doing to this building.
Yeah, maybe the concept of the shot in general is a little out there. Hey, in the last VFX Artists React, I asked for your help to get us 3 million subs, and you guys did it. Thank you so much.
Dude, we're at 3 million subs!
Yes.
How cool is that?
It's so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. And I promised you guys a cool party. We're gonna go get fancy sausages this Friday.
I'm down. I'm down. It's gotta be the best sausage party ever. Can't wait.
Ooh, Edge of Tomorrow, dude. I love this movie so much.
God, that looks so good.
One of my favorite things about this whole scene is that this is the first time you actually start seeing the aliens, and I think they have some incredibly good character design for the aliens.
That alien's just so mean moving. They got the motion right in this.
So this is actually a great mix of practical and CG stuff going on at the same time. They actually built an entire beach. They're blowing stuff up for real, launching practical missiles, and they lined it all with green screen. And then they're extending the set, just making it seem like this infinite space of just freaking D-Day.
Yes. Oh, dude, when you said they had practical missiles, you weren't kidding.
It's probably a wire, and then basically a rocket hanging from the wire so that they can direct the direction it goes.
Oh.
That's actually how they do arrows back in the day too. When people didn't get shot by arrows, it'd be a wire running to like a plate on the person, and they'd shoot the arrow which is hanging from the wire, so it'd travel along the wire and into the armored plate on the person. That D-Day scene, they're running through mud. It's water and mud. It looks great on camera, but that is a nightmare to film in. And then you have to have these like real mech costumes.
Did you know that it took like 30 minutes for all these guys to get into these suits? What Tom Cruise did, he was like, I challenge all of you guys who can get in their suit the fastest. And they got it down to like 3 minutes. And just by issuing that one little challenge, Tom Cruise single-handedly sped up production by like times 10.
Those suits are incredibly heavy, so for all like the hero shots where they're having to run with them, they're actually suspended from a crane, just enough to reduce the weight, right?
So props to Emily Blunt for doing her own barrel roll
This
effect.
is the movie that made me a huge fan of Emily Blunt. Oh my God.
I like how her sword is CG, by the way. So she doesn't accidentally clip anybody with it, she just holds the hilt and they put the blade in.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Tom Cruise crashing the motorcycle in Oblivion?
No.
That's Tom Cruise right there. Bonk!
Oh my God, he almost got his foot ripped off. His foot just gets like sucked in.
He got so lucky.
Look at this.
Oh,
I'm
man.
good. Just my right leg is torn to bits.
And now, costume change.
Oh, this movie.
This movie has some really, really cool visual aesthetics. I love like the sci-fi aspects of this movie. I love the set that they made up in the heavens.
You wonder why this looks so good? All those reflections are so perfect. Like, this would be a pain to green screen with all those reflections. Mm-hmm. But look at the lighting. It's so good. It doesn't look anything like Die Another Day, does it?
He's surfing with the...
Everything blends perfectly. You want to know why everything blends perfectly and everything looks so good? That's because there's no green screen. That's because the environment around this set is a huge dome projection. They actually did a projection onto a big sphere around the set, and they'd project the actual skies around them. So the lighting matched, the reflections matched, there's no green screen to pull, and it just looks so good.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're capturing real sunsets and sunrises. All of that cool looking scenery of the clouds and whatnot is actually real. It's not generated at all.
I'm glad people are combining practical and visual effects, because I think that's the best use of both. You know, when they come together and they work so perfectly together, it's awesome.
Now, we actually had the opportunity to go visit the people that actually made this screen 2 weeks ago. So they're actually doing some really cool new technology now where they're using LED screens instead of projectors. Like, they actually have it rigged up to the Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
And they're tracking your camera in 3D space. So as you move the camera, the background changes accordingly to match the perspective to your camera.
So it's wild because everyone else watching it, it just looks all wonky as like the image is just like changing really weird. But if you were to put your eyes in the exact spot the camera is, it just looks like you're looking into a new world.
So we'll be actually dropping a Corridor Crew video about that technology in our visit there at some point in the future. Subscribe if you want to see it.
Hey, I hear you guys like visual effects, and good for you. We made a green screen emergency blanket. In fact, we went out and made an emergency green screen t-shirt.
Where am I? Oh no.
Could be anywhere.
Did you guys get the clean plate? Because that otherwise it won't work.
We also went out and made an emergency mocap sweatshirt. We made a 5-panel navy blue hat, 2 different colored winter beanie hats. We made a Nalgene bottle with Corridor Digital all over it. No leaks, no cracks, just good old-fashioned water container or whatever you want to put in there. Heck, put a little beer in there, you know what I'm saying? And if you're into things that are waterproof, we made an SD card waterproof holder, and we still have a bunch of black and yellow classic Corridor hats in the store. Now, if you like these videos and you're interested in keeping some awesome, high-quality clothes on your bod, I would recommend going over to corridordigital.store. It's right there, it's ready, it's high quality, and there's free returns, so you don't have to worry about not free returns.
Thanks for watching VFX Artists React. I hope you really enjoyed it. Remember, Star Wars Rated R? We said we were gonna make it. Well, we finally did. It's actually up on the channel right now.
Order 66 feels pretty appropriate. I think so. Like it has a lot of hits. We can all come together and take a moment from that.
Clint's gonna do Obi-Wan hitting the rocks. I'll do Tall Head getting shot up. So we all pick a moment from the kid shot. All right, guys, we got work cut out for us. You can go watch the video. It's super funny. We had a great time making it.
Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment down in the description below. Down in the description. I don't do these outros. They're always bad. But hey, look, it's the heart that counts. Send a VFX shot that you want to see us react to. Leave a comment down in the description. You know what I'm saying? Star Wars Rated R. We did it. Check it out. Check it out. It's gonna be sick. I promise you.